Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm an American expat living in Malaysia and I like to share my life and travels with you. Well, if you follow my channel, you know I was in Penang last weekend. So I'm going to give you a review of the new express train, the Jazz Hotel, and the Blue Mansion, plus my visit with my friends. Sound interesting? Stay tuned! Well, most of you know my friend Jill and her lovely daughter Thea. She came to visit for 2 months and I waited and waited till the last minute to go see her. I kept putting it off, but I had to see Thea. She's one of my favorite people. She's been on my channel a couple times. So that was the main purpose of the trip, was to visit her. And for once, I was not going to the doctor while I was there, which is just wonderful. It just made me feel so much more relaxed. So first of all, when I was planning the trip, I was thrilled to see that the electric train service here has a new express train to Penang from KL. Well, it takes only 3.5 hours. That's like 45 minutes faster than the other train. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, but 3.5 is better than 4.25. The train left at 11:40 a.m., which is a great time because it's too late to get involved in any of the morning rush hour, but still early enough to get to Penang at a decent hour. We were supposed to arrive at 3:15, and we would have just gone straight to the hotel and checked in. Well, we did end up going straight to the hotel and checking in, but we did not arrive at 3:15. I don't know, maybe they're still working out the kinks of this new express train, but it was so much the opposite of express, I couldn't believe it. Anyone who knows the train from KL to Penang knows that the first stop from KL Central, the next stop is just KL, which is the old train station. It's less than 2 minutes away. Well, when our train pulled out of KL Central, it just stopped for at least half an hour. And that's pretty frustrating. In fact, it was stop and go the whole trip. Signal problems, oh, I don't know. And it's so unusual because the train service is usually right on time. So instead of taking 3.5 hours, it took 5 hours, which is just unheard of. But I have to say, and this speaks so well of the people of Malaysia, nobody seemed upset on the train. Nobody was getting nervous or cranky, except me a little bit. But it just made me feel more like an American. Ugh. And that's not a good thing either, because Americans can get irritated at things very quickly, and I'm afraid I'm guilty of that too. But anyway, we got there, took our Grab to the hotel and got checked in right away. So I'd never stayed at the Jazz Hotel before, but I picked it because it's right close to Jill's apartment and Ellen and Paul's. So that was perfect because they're the main people I wanted to see. Now the hotel was fairly new. It was built and finished right before COVID, and unfortunately closed down during COVID for many years. But it's recently been reopened, and it's a nice hotel, I'll tell you that. But I'm going to go over the whole place for you. I don't think I liked it as much as some people do. But that's typical of Taylor, right? The theme of the hotel is jazz music, obviously. And they have really interesting displays all over, and nice signage, and really comfortable seating in the lobby. The lobby is really pretty. Well, once we got checked in, we went up to our room, and I have to say it was my first disappointment because I immediately realized that they gave us a room on the back side of the building facing another building, the Tamarind condominium next door. Well, I would understand that if we had checked in for the weekend or something like that, but we checked in on a Wednesday. And I know from looking around, particularly at breakfast, that the hotel was nowhere near full, and they certainly could have given us a room with a view. The other side of the building has gorgeous views of the ocean, as you can see here. So that was disappointing, but I decided not to say anything. I'm sure if I went down to the lobby and complained, they would have moved us to a room with a view. But it just seems to me that they should give those rooms out first and not save them for people on the weekends or whatever they were doing. I don't know, but the room I paid for was the same price as the one with the view, so there was no reason I couldn't have a view. I have to say, I thought the room was tastefully furnished, really nicely appointed. And the bathroom was exceptional with this huge tub. And I think all the rooms have a bathtub, which is really unusual in a hotel these days. And a big bathtub. It also came with a bath bomb, to make the bath all foamy and bubbly. I haven't used that yet. I brought it home with me though. And it has a decent shower, a nice vanity. Everything was okay, except a couple things. Always something wrong. First of all, the whatever they put on the wall is hideous. I guess it's supposed to look like marble, and I guess if you squinted and blurred your eyes it would, but in reality it does not. And it actually looks like some sort of product that you just smear on the walls and then just let it be. I don't know. I have never read any other review that complained about it though, so I guess I'm just really picky. But you can see in this picture how the edges aren't very neat and it's just sort of hideous. There were two other problems with the bathroom. One was the shower door only opened just a little bit and I could barely squeeze through. Now, I know there are larger people in the world than me, and if I was any larger than I am, I wouldn't have been able to get into the shower. So that's sort of a really bad thing. And you can see probably on this picture that it says pull right on the shower door. Well, I think some kids must have moved the sign because it was really supposed to say push. Because if you pushed the door, you had plenty of room. If you pulled it, it only opened a very short way. So I fixed the sign, I turned it around, so in the future people wouldn't be confused by how the shower door opens. Another thing involving the shower, and I assume the bathtub too, I didn't use the bathtub. And this is so unusual because I'm sure many people are like, well, I never get any hot water in a hotel. Well, this is all it had was hot water at this hotel. And it was so hot, it was scalding. I could turn it all the way to cold and then it would be barely tolerable to use. So I think that's sort of dangerous and something they should look into. But anyway, generally the bathroom was nice. It was all clean, no problem. It had free instant coffee and tea and stuff in a kettle. That's always nice. And a couple of sodas. And that was all included in the price. Like I say, the furniture was nice. The bed was exceptionally comfortable. Pillows, not so much. Oh, there was sort of like a mishmash of pillows. One was rock hard, one was too soft. So I think they could work on that. But my biggest complaint about the room, oh my gosh, is it had the ugliest carpet I think I have ever seen in my life. Here, I'll show it to you here. And I think you'll agree. I can't imagine anyone choosing this. Personally, it looks like someone who was drinking red wine and chocolate threw up all over a white carpet. I know that's a horrible thought, but that's the only way I can describe it. Honestly, we saw this cheap rug place across the street, and I thought, I wonder if that's where they get their rugs, because it was not worth more than 10 ringgit, I can tell you that. But anyway, that would be an easy fix to change the rugs, and it would change the rooms dramatically. But all in all, we sort of enjoyed the hotel. We went up to the pool, and it had just rained, as you can see here. Everything's all wet. But this was another thing. The pool was like on the 30th floor, but it faced the building next door. It didn't face the ocean, which it would have if it was on the other side of the building. So I don't know if architects pay no attention to that when they're designing buildings, but they should pay attention to stuff like that. Anyway, I don't know, out of a 10, I would give the hotel about a 7. It came with breakfast, which was nice too. Although I can't say much for the breakfast. It was just, meh, not really special at all. They did have a special nasi lemak with blue rice. And I heard that it was just terrible. Nothing special about it at all. And every day they had the same omelet special. I guess you could ask for your omelet a different way if you wanted. But they had the same special every day. They had cereals. They had sort of a lame assortment of breads and pastries. Not much in the way of fruit. It just overall was not a delightful breakfast, but since it was included, it was well appreciated, and it did fill us up. I ate mostly cereal and donuts, and I did have some fresh fruit too. So that's my review for the Jazz Hotel. I may stay there again, but I would want it to be cheaper, I think, because I paid 1,000 ringgit for 3 nights. And since I didn't have an ocean view, I thought that was a little on the high side. But people do like it, so I wouldn't say you're going to have a terrible stay if you decide to stay there. It is a great location. So that night we went to Straits Key and had dinner at Blue Reef, a fish and chips place that I like. And we ate with Ellen and Paul and Jill and Thea. I don't know, maybe I was tired from the travel or stuff, but I didn't take any pictures and I apologize. But I did have some fans come up and very sheepishly come up to the table and say, "Are you Taylor?" And they just wanted to tell me how much they enjoyed my channel. I always love it when that happens. We had a lovely evening, and you know the restaurant overlooks the marina. It's just lovely to have that cool ocean breeze. The next day we had lunch with Jill and Thea at Javu, one of my favorite Western restaurants in Penang, in my old neighborhood. And it was so nice to go there again. The owner recognized me. It's just so nice to have that happen. I had the most amazing salad. I had it when I was there last time a few months ago. And it's serrano ham. Oh, and I don't know, it has figs and other things, some feta cheese. It's just a whole wonderful salad. You can see how beautiful it is here. Again, I was very lax about taking pictures, but here's a picture of Jill and Thea at their lunch. So the next day, as I mentioned before, I had gotten tickets from Booking.com. I had some extra points with them, so I used them for tickets for the Blue Mansion. A beautiful spot. If you've never been there in Penang, you have to check it out. I was sort of looking forward to an intimate tour. And I thought maybe the tour would show us parts of the mansion that you couldn't see normally. Now, it is a boutique hotel, and some of it is blocked off. So I thought maybe the tour would show us things you didn't normally get to see. But unfortunately, I was wrong about that. And I was wrong about it being an intimate tour, as there was almost 70 people in our tour group, which was just ridiculous. Way too many. Now, the owner of the place actually gave the tour. And I don't know, maybe that's why it was so crowded. And she was fascinating and fun to listen to. She and her husband saved the place from ruin. They bought it in 1989, and the only other people interested in it were developers, so it would have been completely destroyed. Thank you for saving this beautiful piece of history, that's all I can say. And they've done a beautiful job restoring the place. And it's still worth a visit. But I have to tell you, I don't think I would get the tour, because you can go in and do a self-guided tour, or, like I've done many times in the past, just tell them at the gate that you're going to go for a drink in the bar. They have my favorite bar in all of Malaysia. It is just so charming, as you can see here. And if you just go in for a drink, then you can just wander around and see everything on your own. They have these special rooms with the history and pictures and everything, and you can wander in there on your own. You don't need a tour guide. So that's what I would do in the future. Although I have a good friend who gives the tours there, and I heard her tours are wonderful. And I'm going to come and have a tour with you too someday, Julia. So the Blue Mansion is famous for a lot of things, and it's been in a lot of movies, Indochine with Catherine Deneuve, and of course Crazy Rich Asians had a nice scene there. So it has a lot of history, and it's worth finding out about. So I highly recommend it. But as I say, just do the tour on your own, and I think you'd like it better. So all of a sudden, it was our last night there. Well, Ellen and Paul have moved into a new apartment at Quayside. Now, that's where they lived before when I did the interview with them. I'll put links to the interview with Ellen and Paul and with Jill in the description below. I had briefly seen Ellen and Paul's new apartment before they moved in last time I was in Penang. But boy, does it look nice now that they've moved in. It's so spacious and on a corner and has the most amazing ocean views and ocean breezes. Well, we enjoyed the breeze so much. No need for aircon most of the time there. So all too soon the trip was over. Now, I was a little bit worried about getting back to the train station, which is on the mainland, and it can take a while. So I decided we would have lunch at Via Pre, which would break up the trip into two parts, and sort of halfway there when we were at Via Pre, which is in downtown Georgetown. And it's one of my favorite Italian restaurants. I've been there many times. So we went there and got 2 big pizzas. And of course, you can't eat 2 big pizzas, so we took the leftovers for our meal on the train, because we were going to need it. We weren't in business class this time. It was pouring down rain, so I was so glad we had broken the trip up, because it still took us 40 minutes to get from downtown Georgetown to the train station in Butterworth, and it's not a 40-minute drive normally. Anyway, we got there on time for the train, and it wasn't the express train, but it was faster than the express train. I mean, it took us 4 hours and 15 minutes to get back instead of the 5 hours it took us to get there on the express. Oh my gosh, I hope they work that out, because 3.5 hours to Penang, it would be really great. Well, I hope you enjoyed coming to Penang with me again. It's the place I go most often because I have so many friends there, and I don't get to see them nearly enough. If you enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe, and check the notification bell too so you won't miss any of my future videos. Also, as you know, I now have Buy Me a Coffee, and you can buy me a coffee, and that would make me so happy. Thank you so much for the people who do. Now, some of you may have noticed that I have a new surrounding around me. No, I'm not at the hotel in Penang. I am in my new room. My den, or whatever you want to call it, guest room. I just thought I would give you a peek of it, because soon I'm going to be doing the complete reveal of my new apartment. So look forward to that. It could be as soon as next week, but I'm not sure. But anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. That's all I've got for today. Talk to you later. Bye.